What's going on, guys? I know I'm a day late on this, but I wanted to look at the David Jiricek trade that went down yesterday. I was really surprised when I heard Columbus was trying to trade him. Former 5th overall pick. Was definitely a guy I thought would be a part of Columbus's top 4, if not, top D pair in the future. So to hear they're kind of just, over his development, I guess, he wants to play in the NHL. They think he should be in the AHL. That was like the big disconnect. So they decided to move on from him, trading him with a 5th round pick to the Minnesota Wild for Daemon Hunt, who's like a decent prospect, 2025 first, 2026 third and 4th, and a 2027 second. So they get a haul of picks back there from the Minnesota Wild. I will say, when I heard Jiricek was like on the block, I really thought they were gonna get like a blue chip prospect back. I'm sure they asked for Booyam, and I'm sure the Wild told them no. After that, though, like maybe try and get, say, a Lambeau Hart there, maybe even Kiva Harju, probably like a lower floor, but also a higher ceiling guy. Obviously, was projected to go like top 10 in the draft as recently as a year ago. Now, instead they get back Daemon Hunt in game. You guys can see he's not bad, 22 years old, 26 overall, medium top 6 potential. It was a 3rd round pick back in 2020, and then of course they get all those picks back from the Wild. Now, the 1st round pick is top 5 protected. Pretty much no shot the Wild picked top 5 this year. I'm sure Garen just threw it in just in case. Like, you want to cover all your bases, not look like a dummy. So 2026, they get a 3rd and a 4th. I believe it's the Wild 3rd, but could be wrong on that. And then again, in 2027, they get a 2nd round pick. So tons and tons of picks going back there for David Jiricek. And it makes sense, as I mentioned, like really good player in game. 20 years old here, 80 overall elite potential. Actually, the 6th overall pick, my bad, not the 5th, back in 2022. Now, I do think one of the big reasons why Columbus was willing to move on from him is the fact they also got Matachuk in the same draft, 12th overall there, 2022. And apparently they think he's kind of like doing better than Jiricek. They have him, valued higher. Obviously, Jiricek still has that draft pedigree, though, being a top 6 pick. And then again, they threw on a 2025 5th round pick. I'm guessing, the Wild are like, you got to give us one pick going back the other way. So looking at this here, the Wild want both Jiricek and the 5th. They have the 3rd and the 4th on the block. That's it. The value's on their side, but Jiricek they want, and he's like the highest valued player in the trade, so they might say yes. Again, as always, guys, this is on medium difficulty. Trade is rejected. Interesting. In real life, I actually feel like the Wild won this trade. Like, they're doing really well right now. I'd rather have, like, the known commodity in Jiricek, who's, a solid blue chip prospect, rather than a bunch of lottery tickets here in the picks, who could end up being nothing. And chances are the players they get with those picks won't be as good as Jiricek, as again, like, this is probably going to be a mid to late 1st, and then later picks would be a very big steal to get somebody of Jiricek's pedigree. So I'm just kind of curious, how close is this? We take off the 2nd. Okay, so in game they feel like the Wild overpaid slightly there, giving up that 2nd round pick. But again, in real life, I think it was fair, if not the Wild winning this. And after that trade, guys, here's what the Blue Jackets lines look like when healthy. So they got Veronka, Monahan, Marchenko there on the 1st line. Johnson, who's looking really good this season, playing with Fantilli, Chinikov. You got Sillinger, Jenner, Danforth on the 3rd, Olivier, Crowley, JVR on the 4th. So obviously no change to the forward group here. Looking at this, they definitely need, Fantilli, Johnson to really take that next step and become true elite players. Right now, they're both good players. They need to become elite, though, if the Columbus Blue Jackets want to win with them. Speaking of elite, Werenski looks elite this year. I love seeing that from him. And I think they made a really nice waiver claim getting Dante Fabro from the Preds for free. I'm still kind of shaking my head at that one. Probably not as much as, them buying out Duchesne, who's currently leading the Stars in points. I don't know if you guys saw that tweet, but still an interesting move there by the Preds. The rest of their defense, you got Severson, Provorov, Harris, Goodbranson. Like, their D isn't that terrible, which is why I can kind of see them moving on from Jiricek. And again, they still have Matachuk coming up. They've also got Carson Kuhlman, who's like a decent defensive prospect. It's just, a weird move to make as a rebuilding team to get rid of one of your best prospects. Usually it's a contending team that's doing that. And then, of course, goaltending-wise, Merzlikins, Tarasov, they definitely need a, stud goalie of the future. Good news for them is there's actually a lot of good goalies in this upcoming draft class. You got, like, Ravensburg and Ivankovic and Drainov. They could land one of those 3 with the Minnesota Wild pick and say James Hagen's 1st overall with their pick. They'd be in a pretty good spot. And now next year, guys, we're going to try the trade from the Minnesota Wild perspective. I actually did make a mistake. So after the 2025 1st, the 3rd and 4th round pick they give up in 2026 are actually the Avs and the Leafs. So just their own picks. And then 2027, of course, is their own, that 2nd rounder. Of course, too, we have to add Hunt on to this trade. So 5 pieces there for the Blue Jackets. They do like the 1st, the 3rd, and the 4th. I'm guessing the 2nd is just too far away for them to be interested. Jiricek, elite potential prospect, not on the block, is going to be tough to trade for. I could definitely see them rejecting this trade as well, in which case EA will think it's a fair deal. So add their 5th round pick there, 2025. Values on our side. Let's see what the Blue Jackets say. Trades accepted. Never mind. Okay, so EA does feel like Columbus won this trade. And like I said, in real life, I think it was fair, if not Minnesota winning it. Also, too, guys, I thought it was funny. On my TV, you can see Penguins, Dallas. I always try to put like the teams that are part of the video. My game's so old. Both these teams weren't even in it. Just thought I wanted to mention that. And after that trade, guys, here's an update look at the Minnesota Wild team when healthy. Obviously, like the Columbus Blue Jackets, no real change to the forward group. I will say, I'm really surprised to see how well the Wild are playing this season. I thought they'd be like a bubble team. Right now, they're actually tied with the Winnipeg Jets for first place in the Central, which is pretty crazy considering the Jets were like 10-0 to start the season. Also, too, I should point out, Columbus fans, my bad, I didn't realize they're actually fighting for a playoff spot, better win percentage than the Flyers, who are currently in a wild card position. So that first overall pick, probably not going to be James Hagens, but if you do miss, obviously that's what you hope. Defensively here, I think this has to be one of the best top 6 in the NHL. Middleton, so good defensively. Faber, already a stud at 22, definitely like a number 1 defenseman. Spurgeon, Brodin, both, great top 4 D-man. Merrill solid defensively. You bring in Jiricek. Hopefully, he gets a good chance here in Minnesota. Gustin playing pretty well for them. Fleury as well has one more chance here at a cup before he eventually retires at the end of this season. Now, I'll quickly here show you guys what Jiricek looks like now on the Minnesota Wild. So here you go, guys. David Jiricek in the Minnesota Wild, dark green there, wearing number 55. I feel like his game face there isn't too bad. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. As always, let me know in the comment section which team you think won the trade. If you enjoyed this video, leave that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.